rumors of a Bandai buyout of MetaZoo. If this is true, I think it's the best news that you could possibly hope for any kind of MetaZoo reboot. Now, I'm going to give you my speculation specifically around old products in this video and what I think about that news and how that might affect any kind of speculative action on old products versus if MetaZoo is just going to be bought out by, some other kind of individual or a group of people, or just be a dead card game from here on forward. First of all, before we get into it, I've got these dumb bandages on my earlobes. I had a ear piercing closure procedure today because I tried to stretch them when I was much younger, and they've been kind of always a little bit slightly deformed as a result. And I had a procedure today, so I'll have these stitches in my earlobes for this week. Procedure went great, and just kind of feeling great and even ready to just make another video. What do I think about this news? First of all, I received my news from Dungeons and Joypad's latest vlog video on his MetaZoo partner experience. I'm going to put a link to that video down in the description below, as well as Gandalkin has put out a video about this news, and Gandalkin actually put a link to the forum, the thread where these rumors, I'll call them rumors. I don't believe that they are 100% authenticated, anything like that. I'll put a link to his video. He has in his description the link where this information is being provided in a forum or thread, something like that. I have not looked at it myself, but when I heard the news of Bandai but potentially buying it out, first of all, I was in disbelief, and again, it's not confirmed. But I just was really skeptical, and not because, not downing on MetaZoo, but I was really skeptical of a big company that big coming into a new TCG, wanting anything to do with a new trading card game. Because for me, I felt like really MetaZoo came out of a 2020, 2021 boom, was promoted by Rudy Alpha Investments, Steve Aoki, sports card investor. It got so much promotion at the right time. And I felt like though there are good things that are neat about it and things that I liked about it, I don't really feel like it was anything more than any other new card game. Many other new card games I feel like just didn't have the same timing and additional factors that actually got MetaZoo the momentum that got it to today. And that momentum just couldn't last because we came out of that time. That's sort of my personal analysis of the situation. So I thought, a big company is not going to want to buy out MetaZoo itself. They're just, if anything, I feel like MetaZoo has really gotten a leg up from the very specific set of circumstances that helped bring it to this point. But then again, maybe that same set of circumstances made it big enough to get people's attention. And even now, maybe there is a buyout opportunity. In fact, Bandai could buy it and not even do anything with it, right? They could just have it just in case if it's cheap enough, I guess. That's also a possibility. And just have control over it and decide to have it in their back pocket if they ever want to do something with it, So in my opinion, I think it would be great news if Bandai bought out MetaZoo and rebooted the game. And Dungeons and Joypads mentioned, they would probably change it a lot, right? They would make it more like anime style, I guess, or animated. And I believe he said also that they would probably, come out with an actual anime or something to go with it. And in my opinion, Bandai is a big company. They're professional. They're working to make products that will make profit, and they're not personally invested in it. There was a lot, I think, of just too much personal investment with the previous, or I guess some current management with the product before. And, they're not going to have a official Bandai MetaZoo Discord server with, shenanigans, banning shenanigans and all this stuff. They'd probably just let people have their unofficial fan Discord servers, and they're just going to, do their corporate thing and make polished sets and bring them out. And just, it'd be something very similar to I think what we see with Digimon and One Piece. I think that would be great. I'm very excited if they were to do that, to see what they come up with, how they make changes and change maybe the gameplay and the art design of the cards, but maybe maintain the logo or just the overall idea, but actually flesh it out and make it really work. So I'm actually very excited for that news. And if they were to reboot MetaZoo, I would probably follow along, get in on that. And now to get to the speculation on the old boxes, in that scenario, which I'm deeming right now the best case scenario, I will not buy any old boxes. I could see an argument for first edition Cryptid Nation because it's like the base set of the previous era, but it is not comparable at all, in my opinion, to some kind of WotC era, Wizards of the Coast era Pokemon first chapter, right? These are not going to be vintage WotC cards, in my opinion. And you know the reason is? Dungeons brought this up in this video. He said that the game is so toxic that he doesn't even really see potential for it for the future, something like that. Maybe with Bandai, I don't remember exactly what he said about that, but at any case, he opined that there was just toxicity and negativity attached to the old game. And I agree with that. I feel like for me, when I buy Wizards of the Coast Pokemon cards, like that was a good era when I was playing Pokemon, collecting Pokemon cards, playing the Pokemon video games. There was not toxicity or negativity that is being harkened back to when I'm revisiting that time by collecting old Pokemon cards. I think there's too much, and I feel like there's a lot of people who feel like me who just see, maybe they have some good things they liked about MetaZoo or pique their curiosity, but the negativities far outweigh that. And all this toxic drama and the things, the Discord bannings and all of the overly personal investments by entanglements by the management with the game that sunk the game, the prideful, kind of nature over the operations of the game. I feel like all of that is just so overwhelming to the game that it's got this negative baggage to it, and I don't even want that old stuff, because it takes me back to a time that was very negative. After the first edition in Nightfall, things got very negative with MetaZoo, and I don't want to go back to that time. I want to move forward. Either other card games, I am going over to other card games and other things in my life, in my hobbies. But as far as MetaZoo goes, if I were to continue any sort of MetaZoo, if it were to keep going, it would have to be a Bandai or some level company similar to Bandai buying it out and doing something interesting with it that would pique my interest. And that's where I'm going to go all in. I don't want any of this old stuff. Now, I've seen some takes around the Hello Kitty boxes. Devin's Card House talked about how there was a slight rebound on those, or just a rebound on those, I'll just say. And I'll put a link to his video in the description below. And Collect Pokemon came out and talked about the Hello Kitty boxes as being something to potentially target at around $20 to $25, I believe is what he targeted. But he did not say to go all in. He said to get a case or two, maybe, And I'll put a link to his video down below as well, so you can see his take on it. So I think, in my opinion, if you want to, if MetaZoo's dead, I think there could be speculative potential with the Hello Kitty boxes because of the Hello Kitty name attached to them. I've seen the number 10,000 booster box supply floating around, I think in comments or in a video or somewhere, I don't remember where, but I've encountered that number 10,000 as being the HK box supply. But you have to, are you talking about the single boxes? Does that include the double boxes or those like collectors 2-box bundles? How many of those 3-pack blisters are there going to be? How many other kinds of products are there going to be? How do they all add up? And I don't know the answers to those questions. Nor do I know anything really about Hello Kitty or their audience, how much their audience is going to care about cards or these cards or whatever. It's just, for me, I'm not personally interested in Hello Kitty, and I don't know much about it or its audience. And I'm just going to kind of have to pass on it. I think even if they got the $20 to $25, for me personally, I'm not going to be bothering with it. Now, the Cryptid Nation First Edition, that was a better time because MetaZoo was just coming out onto the scene. It was a good set. You don't have non-holo rare saturating things. Not every card in the common or uncommon slots comes in reverse holo. It makes for a nice binder set. I like the display art on it. It is the base set from that. I can see the argument for it, but remember that is from that negative chapter as well overall, even though that box came out at a better time for MetaZoo. So, I can see the analysis for that box again, but I think the bare argument for that is that the magic is gone now. And even that box, I'm not feeling nostalgic for. If I want a nostalgic pullback, I'm just going to go to Pokemon. So that is my analysis. I think if Bandai takes it over, I would just be checking out the new stuff. See how you like that. See if you want to move forward with Bandai doing it or some similar company. I'll say this too, that Dungeons Joypads brought up also the possibility of like a consortium of partners, I think is the phrase he used, coming in and buying it out themselves, or even if there was another individual that is, no one really knows and isn't affiliated with a big company. Even maybe someone like maybe another individual, I think is another possibility. There could be another individual that comes in and just wants to buy it out themselves. I would be skeptical if that happens. If there's a consortium of partners, or some group of individuals, or just one individual, it could be like another Mike or Andy or whoever coming in. You don't know who they are, what their reputation is in the space. I would be proceeding with caution. Maybe they try to just continue the game where it left off and keep a lot of things the same. Maybe they try to reboot it themselves, take time to really look at and analyze what they come up with. I'm just extremely skeptical of that scenario. But again, if it's Bandai, if it's a company that is known in the space and has a good track record, and they actually do that, I think that is exciting. And that does provide opportunity, not for the old products, although I could be wrong, I'm just speculating, but for the new stuff that comes out, a new chapter. People, I think, are at this point wanting to cleanse their palates and move forward with something new and fresh. And it's probably going to be other games personally. But if they still wanted to give MetaZoo a chance, I think they're more likely to try the new thing over this old stuff that is now part of, in my opinion, a very negative chapter, a toxic chapter that isn't going to inspire a lot of nostalgia.